I wasn't the original creator of it. The original creator was Shimazu Yoshihiro. I just got his permission to use it and change it up for FJ instead of SJ.
Right.
Second session,
No, keep going. Sorry.
Second section, community rights. It basically says the community members won't, get deprived of their right being treated fairly in the DK. They're randomly arrested or detained within Kyoto. They can, anyone can run for office, right? That's pretty self-explanatory as well.
I see. Oh,
I think the best part, the more new part, because I want to work with both the Kansai Han and also Yamasumi, because we have to make a compromise. So this part is more on a Yamasumi side, but then Kansai Han also support, because Kansai Han acknowledges that Yamasumi is a good developer. We can all acknowledge that Yamasumi is a good dev. There's no doubt about it. So basically, what the Bushi standards says in Article 3 under community standards, it basically says that any samurai within Kyoto, it lists the rights of the samurai within the bounds of Kyoto or any place. It brings back the roleplay aspect of FJ. It gives samurai their power that they should have had in the Sengoku period. Then, going under Imperial Law is basically pretty simple. The only major change is that I made the Jinji Haku a minister instead of making the Jinji Kan an entire council that is, not gonna do anything. So I just made it a minister to make things easier. Also, another thing, amendments are basically legislation, but it's amendments, so it just makes more sense that way. And then Imperial Edicts, basically emperor, equivalent to executive orders, which are temporary, and the court has permissions to either renew or just remove the edicts. And then judiciary law is basically pretty standard. How do you make a court of law? Simple stuff. Imperial Household Law, it's kind of new. No one has ever really touched on the imperial household. It basically just states what the imperial family is, what their rights are, what their powers are, how ascension and enthronement works for a tenno. So basically, whenever a tenno is elected, they aren't actually the tenno yet until they're inaugurated. So they're technically an heir at that point when they're elected. So that's basically how that works. And then, it outlines regencies whenever there isn't a tenno and the Ganpaku is taking over. And then the 5 amendments. First Amendment, Taikoku Kebi, basically just says what the Kebi are and what they do. Voting procedure basically outlines, this was the main thing that needed to be compromised, but we made it. And it's pretty okay. It's good. It's not like everyone's like, oh, this is amazing, but it's like, everyone is in agreement that it'll work as a compromise, and it's good. Basically outlines how amendments and petitions are voted on, and how ministers will be voted on. Impeachment basically says, it basically outlines how to impeach a minister and how to remove a minister. Impeaching a minister is not the same thing as removing them. Impeaching a minister basically says, "Hi, you did something wrong, but it's not bad enough to the point where we're gonna remove you." But if they're impeached, they can't run again for 3 consecutive terms. And then, removing a minister, pretty, self-explanatory. And speaking of terms of ministers, I haven't written that yet, but it's basically gonna outline, this minister can only stay the terms of office and like re-elections, how that works. And Article 5, the shogunate, is basically the same thing as what FJ has right now, but it's just reworded. But yeah, that's basically the whole constitution as of now.
that's very